she goes, "This will be easy. I'll be easy on you." And then she puts her cold ass hands on me. Oops, sorry. And then she puts her cold hands on me. So I'm like, okay. She's like a mother figure, primary guardian angel. I can't draw, so I don't even really try. Ooh, you have multiple people over here. Sorry about it. Not sorry about it. She said she passed medically, and I was like, "Did you know?" She goes, "Yeah, I knew." Okay, so then she tells me it was a medical decline, maybe, I was going to say maybe she had a hard time walking, but it seems like it's just a faint physical body decline toward the end. She makes me feel comfortable, maybe at home, or like maybe even being taken care of. I don't feel like she was like that progressed, but I do see a medical decline, and then I see sunshine, so she didn't expect to pass the day that she did. So I would be safe to assume this is a underlying medical issue that she's just been existing with, and then decline. So sounds like an older lady at this point, so maybe a grandma. And then she goes like this, like maybe she had a hard time communicating. Okay, she had a hard time maybe communicating or eating, or maybe she declined to the point where she couldn't do the basic human functions, you know. Primary guardian angel, like a mother figure, something underlying, knew what she was going to pass from, but didn't expect it that day, probably being taken care of, medical decline. But the decline was like right at the end, like dominoes. All right. Let's see. So she said, I stayed with her the last 2 weeks with hospice coming in her home. Holy monkeys. And I'm like, she talks about being at home. She talks about the care she received at home. Something's going on with the home. And I didn't even write that down, you know. So I love those ones. And turns out that Brytenie actually came into the home the last 2 weeks of her life. So that decline right at the end, that domino effect, kind of makes me feel like the message is like you got there just in time, or she's grateful you were just in time, and you helped her keep her independence, which is really important for her. Like, she's like, oh man, nobody's wiping her butt, you know what I'm saying? And you really helped her keep her independence, so she's grateful for the very, like, you know, don't feel like you didn't have enough time, which I don't feel like you feel this way. Okay, hold on. I know I'm like right in the middle of a message, but I gotta keep going. And then she talks about you having something that she wore, but then she talks about it being like jewelry, like you got to have a little like a little small collection of things, like on your way out, essentially. And she goes, no, she actually put everything together and just handled it. I don't know if it's like mom's mom and mom's useless, you know what I'm saying? But everything was on you when she passed, which is incredible. Okay, she goes, she raised me my whole life. It's spot on. I'm bawling. All right, she's losing it. Grandma's here. Who is this? I'm assuming grandma, because you say she raised me my whole life. And so you also have this male on the other side. I mean, you have two, and I feel like I could go on forever, but you have an older male that served. He just seems older. He definitely couldn't walk or get around at the end of his life. And it's like, you know, he goes, what kind of reality is that if you can't? I'm like, okay. And then you have a young male with dark hair that passed suddenly, unexpectedly, with a common, classic, simple first name. And he's also on the other side. Boom. And you didn't even ask for those, so I just threw it on you. I'm like, oh, you're already crying? Take that. Yeah? You're crying harder? Take that. And then I'm like, now our third person. And then everyone's like, oh my gosh, Kato, you're so nice. And she goes, her ashes are in my necklace, and I had her nightgown made into a teddy bear. So the jewelry and her clothes being made into a teddy bear. She loves how you're choosing to honor her memory, and she totally knows. She totally knows. I love that. I love that. She has a great energy to channel. I'm so glad you're here today. I'm so glad you took the chance today. Yay! I love it. Thank you for being here.